All right. Hi, everyone. And thank you so much for watching this opening to our Fight for Fair Map Summit. So All the Line has put together this summit of lots and lots of North Carolina experts on redistricting. And I feel like we're going to all learn a lot together. And this evening, and especially, we have two sessions. So we're going to have Allison Riggs, who's the Executive Director of Southern Coalition for Social Justice, which has really led the fight on redistricting litigation in North Carolina over the past 10 years. And she's going to be our first presenter tonight, starting at 6. And I think we're going to learn a lot from her. And she is definitely one of the redistricting experts for sure. And then after that at 7, we are going to go to a panel with some legislators. So we're going to have Senator Wiley Nickel, we are going to have Senator Natasha Marcus, and we're going to have Representative Pricey Harrison. And we are also going to have Jane Pinsky of the North Carolina Coalition for Lobbying and Government Reform to come talk to us a little bit about what it's like when you're in the midst of the redistricting process in the legislature, what happened during the redraw, what things that you could do to actually help and support legislators who want to fight for fair maps. So I think that is also going to be really exciting. And then we also will have a full day starting tomorrow, starting early at 8:30 a.m. The first thing we're going to have is speaker, Pastor William Lucas. He's one of our really special super volunteers at All on the Line. He's also one of the most inspirational people that I've ever really listened to. And so we're going to have him talk a little bit about how he came to volunteer with All on the Line and what redistricting means to him and his community. He's a pastor of a church in Durham, and people in his community are really directly affected by this issue. So that's going to be a great opening, and then we're going to have tons of panels, and hopefully you got the email with the full schedule. So you'll see we're going to talk to people from issue organizations like Planned Parenthood and League of Conservation Voters about how redistricting has affected them. We're going to hear from Jonathan Mattingly, who is a mathematics expert and has been an expert witness in some of the North Carolina litigation about how they use analytical tools to figure out if there is a gerrymander of the maps. Stacey Carless of North Carolina Census Counts is going to give us a great overview and debrief of the 2020 census and what's going on with it now. Where are we? And we're also going to have Peter Miller from the Brennan Center come and talk about giving effective public comments in redistricting processes. He's actually done an academic study on how that is. And finally, we're going to have some other people come and talk about reform from Democracy NC, from the NAACP North Carolina Raleigh Apex branch, and from Common Cause to sort of talk about the evolution of redistricting reform in North Carolina. And then, so the pièce de résistance, we're going to have Eric Holder come and speak and do a keynote at the end of the day and answer some of your questions. So I'm really, really thrilled for what we have, what we're going to have set up for you all. And I think, this is something I've been dreaming about doing for quite a while, and to see all of our partners in North Carolina, all these experts show up and really, be ready and willing to come out here and teach you all these things about the redistricting process is just fantastic and thrilling. So in a little bit, we're going to break before the 6 p.m. session. But before that, I did want to tell you about some ways to get involved with All on the Line North Carolina, some stuff that you may know, and also some new things that are coming up. So first of all, the newest program that we are setting up is going to be called our Legislator Accountability Teams. I will put a link to the sign up for that in the chat now so that you can see it. So these are going to be, in North Carolina, we know that the redistricting process is run by the legislature. It's part of the problem, right? You have legislators drawing their own districts, and that's a huge, huge issue. So obviously, if legislators are in control, one of the best things that we can do to keep on top of the process and fight for fair maps is that we can we can, keep on top of those legislators. We can support them when they're doing the right thing to fight for fair maps, and we can challenge them when they may be tempted to, to do self-dealing things and to, and to do stuff to benefit themselves. So we are going to be setting up those legislator accountability teams. I think they're going to be very, very important. I think that a lot of us saw during the 2019 redraw process what kind of happened when we kind of saw behind the scenes. So in a lot of previous redistricting processes, legislators would just show up with maps and that would be that. But in 2019, we got to actually see the drawing process, and it wasn't pretty a lot of the time. A lot of the time we sat there and we watched legislators kind of hovering over those computer terminals and drawing districts for themselves, and saying like, I want this precinct and I want that precinct. And so we saw the potential and what probably is happening behind the scenes anyway. And so we really, really are going to need support to keep people in line, to remind people. I think a lot of legislators, just need some reminding about where their real priorities are. And so that's what the legislator accountability teams are going to be about. So when you sign up there, you are going to we're going to contact you soon to figure out what team you should be on. Obviously, this is going to be based on who your actual legislator is. And also then we will be soon working to put out an actual toolkit that you can use for how to start that relationship with the legislator. Because part of the idea of these teams is that you are going to be a person that this legislator is going to hear from regularly. They're going to know who you are. They're going to know who your team is. And they're going to know that you're going to keep on top of them. So that toolkit will help you start building that relationship with the legislator with the rest of your team. And we will also eventually start having some sort of statewide accountability teams meetings where we may train you on new skills, where we may catch up on the latest developments. The redistricting process can take place all year this year. We're really going to have to stay on top of it. It's going to be kind of a long slog, but we will always keep you up to date, and we will always hopefully be teaching you new and useful things. So we're really, really excited about that. The other program that you may know of that's been around for a little while with us is called our Redistricting Leadership Program. So this is a program that we started almost a year, well, not quite a year ago now, but like more than 6 months ago now. And this is sort of for the redistricting nerds among you. And I'm sure there are a lot of you here who are redistricting nerds, because you're here for a redistricting conference where you're going to hear from all these great experts. And so this redistricting leadership program is really a deep dive course into learning as much as, in as much detail as we can give you about how does the North Carolina process work? How has it worked in the past? Going through all of the major cases that are relevant to redistricting. And we also have some elements where we're teaching you how to use mapping programs on your own so that you can draw your own redistricting maps. So it's a really, really interesting in-depth program for I think those of you especially who love this stuff, want to nerd out about it, want to, dig deeper. And I think it will really provide like a really good foundation for you to be a leader in your community around redistricting. So if you haven't already signed up for the Redistricting Leadership Program, and I'm sure there are a lot of people here who've already looked at it, I would encourage you to do so if that's something that appeals to you, because it's kind of a labor of love for me. I am one of those redistricting nerds. Before this was my job, I was doing this stuff as a volunteer back in 2017 when we had another court-ordered redraw, and that's where I really got into this and spent all of my free time doing it, because it is such a fascinating field, and also just so fundamental to us getting where we want to be in North Carolina, to us having a state that provides for all North Carolinians, that creates justice for all North Carolinians, that creates access to the vote for all North Carolinians. So I think that program is really, really exciting, especially I think for those of you who show up to this because you just love to learn about redistricting. So those are the two programs that we are really going to be pushing during this event. I encourage you to sign up if that's something that you're interested in, especially the legislator accountability teams, because we are getting into it. Legislators are already thinking about maps, trying out things. We don't even have the census data yet, but there's already a lot of movement in the legislature around this, and we don't have time to waste. So I'd really encourage you to join that. Okay, someone was saying that the links don't open. You have to copy them. I'm really sorry about that. Let me see. I have some people on here with me, and I will try to recopy them, and you can tell me if that works. So I'll copy them directly from our Mobilize site. So this is a sign up that we're doing through Mobilize, which you all use to sign up for this event. It's kind of how we do all of our event signups, because it kind of keeps everything in the same place for us. So this is this is the legislator accountability team link, and I will put it. I'm trying to spell accountability while I'm trying to talk to you. So if the other links didn't work for you, I'd ask you to try that one and let us know. I will also go get the Redistricting Leadership Program link for you all. Okay. And I will put that in as well. So some other people are saying that they worked. I don't mind copying and pasting them, because I want it to make sure it works for everyone and everyone gets access to it who wants access to it. So anyway, I think that we are just about to sign off in anticipation of our next session. So again, the next session we're going to go into is going to be with Allison Riggs from Southern Coalition for Social Justice. I think those of you who are familiar with North Carolina redistricting staff probably know about her, but she is probably the most experienced litigator on redistricting issues in North Carolina. She and her organization have been doing this for a very long time, and I think she will really have like a really interesting and in-depth presentation for us. So we will be basically ending this portion of the webinar and coming back at 6, and you would use the exact same link that you used to get onto this webinar. So we're just keeping the same webinar, but we're just going to close it out so that we can restart it and give Allison some time to set up her slides and stuff like that. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye for now. We'll be back in 15 minutes. So please come and rejoin us for Allison's session. And also then again, remember, we have another session tonight starting at 7. And that is going to be the session with some of our legislators and with Jane Pinsky, our friend from North Carolina Coalition for Lobbying and Government Reform, talking about what it's like to be inside the legislature when redistricting is going on, and getting some perspective on that, and also how you can best participate. So again, really great. I'm so glad so many of you have joined, and we will see you again in about 15 minutes. All right, bye.